every freaking video. Fuck that shit. Don't know what to say now. Let me just. Not right. Blah, 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 blah. You shouldn't be hearing this. I don't want to get copyright claim, man. I'm done with copyright. I don't get this copyright thing, man. I'm always getting copyright. So I really don't want to play it. Who is this? Was it Soldier Boy that got copyright claim for his own freaking song, man? That's freaking wrong, man. Okay, so no, I'm not. What? Let me go back to Twitch now. Back again. I'm back, bro. Don't. My viewers, please come back.
Out of there. Too many targets, too much.
6-5. I didn't. My lights went out. Lights went out. Wi-Fi went out.
And look at them instantly evacuating back towards B.
I'm not sure if they feel as if G2 are just going to kind of sit tight for the time being, or whether or not I'm looking. I mean, Laz is 2 off his ult.
Oh my god. That's freaking bad. Even after that. My video's probably leaving right now. Please don't leave.
And you're here to retrieve the orb maybe, but there's a deep trap from Mixwell. And he's posted with the operator. They're going to be shift walking this.
Has to be his moment to lock this down though. How much more can they do with 3?
It's 3v4 now. It's a 3v4.
And the right call from G2 there to hit that rotation when they did. Because the temptation maybe to linger around longer if they just hit the brakes. But no, that was a really nice mid-round call coming out.
Oh, they're coming back from
for
flank.
another adjustment.
I know they're
going.
That's unlucky. Yeah, rotating. Siege is ready.
Seems the next option, but look at this. Hoody is patrolling it. He is so much.
Oh!
Players 1, 2, make it 3. No, not today. And it is going to be.
He had a low SP.
Out in the end by Meddo, but 7-5. Mike, what a half.
That's one of the most excruciating defensive half victories I've seen on Split in a while. I mean, ZETA just demonstrated a fantastic grasp of the macro on this map, and what G2 were going to be doing, and when.
I'm in love with this game. If this keeps to this caliber, I can't get enough of it. This first half has given me everything, every reason why people love watching ZETA. The first glimpses at G2.
ZETA.
This is only the first half. I mean, I need to catch my breath. Let's hand it over to the desk.
Supporting their freaking country's team.
Thank you very much, Pansy and Hypog. What an exciting start to that game. I know we hecking love TENNs here, but I just gotta say, Brett, I hecking love TENN.
I heckin' love TENN too.
Yes.
I mean, this guy is he is the impetus for a lot of their strategies, right? This guy, he's the one who's supposed to be going first in a lot of their attack rounds over and over again, and it's important that he gets information on the setups and whatnot. And often he's just getting value when he really shouldn't be. I mean, it doesn't look like an impressive stat line in terms of his KD, like 9 kills, 11 deaths. But you gotta understand, this guy is the reason as the wide area would actually hard clear a lot of these sites when they go.
He's the one creating the space on the first rounds. I think it was all about him. Double satchel lane, just spotting exactly where AvovA was going to be waiting, but also the adaptation from G2, placing those trademarks exactly what they expected them to check to actually have that double effect, and the way that they both were, adapted onto it. Here's exactly what I was talking about. You know that AvovA is going to be there. I mean, these are entries that he's getting, and he's winning a lot of these duels, Brent, against nukkye, one of the best race players in the world.
But it's super important as well now that they carry this momentum forwards into the next half as well, because statistically speaking, ZETA Division, they don't have great defense sides across their maps, including their defensive setups. Sometimes they're a bit hit or miss. So whilst their attack rounds, like TENN's popping off, of course, but you got to have more now as we're coming into this defense side, because it's not like you can just rely on TENN to just double satchel what into their spawn. Like, it's just not going to be the case.
Yeah, exactly. And they decided to go for that adaptation onto literally saying, we don't care about that first minute. We want you to use the utility, and then we make that decision, and it's going to be explosive. On the side of G2, they decided even to go for the double operator. I'll just give it to Mixo for the next one, but we need to stop the executes if they're only going to do it with 20 seconds. Yeah, it's been a really entertaining half so far. I can't wait to see the second one. Over to you, Pansy and Hypog.
Second half now. Beckoning, we were at 7-5, and I think the point coming up on the desk was actually quite valid that yes, we've seen a good half from ZETA here, but now it has to translate into this side, which can be an issue.
For sure. I mean, I think it's fair to say as well, though, G2 have had flaky performances in terms of their attacking halves on split as well.
Yes.
So that's definitely a consideration to make. Mixwell, as he does go for a little poke into Mail. Not rewarded for it just yet. Ball coming up pretty late in mid as well. I think Mixwell's going to try and deal with that, or at least plant the seed that is still stacked behind us. G2 are actually leaning toward the 4-man piece in towards B site, though.
Okay, let's see what Sugar0 can do. Any potential damage? I assume he gets checked quickly. Oh, he's done well enough to get one, at least with the Frenzy unleashing. But a quick, good trade for G2. This could be even a third here. Crow does at least do a little bit of damage in the meantime, but it's all essentially favourable trades for G2, leaving 3 standing. The spike to be picked back up.
ZETA, let's go
TENNN
ZETA.
did manage to drop down unnoted so far.
So,
A little bit of wiggle room.
we got 10 though. We got 10 though.
What goes in. G2 in good enough post plants here. The hope has just been destroyed, apparently. Mixwell. Better keep those hands feeling safe here. Crow's been given a chance!
He ran out of bullets.
Sweet.
He actually ran out of bullets.
What is this game? How did it come to that?
Oh, that was nice. That
Was everybody just watching the boombot drift
Big
towards AvovA, just like,
Big chillin'.
by the way, it's coming. Yeah, I've got my headhunter out. I'm not shooting it. Again, Sugar0 with the frenzy here. There's a real chance he actually gets the
I thought he
second.
could have maybe got another nice spacing there from G2 to at least make sure that doesn't happen.
Oh, we even call this was stat. Yeah.
Mixwell didn't even look at him.
Mixwell was not
If he
in the
dies, he
slightest
dies.
bit concerned.
Look, as long as you get the round,
Hey,
it's cool.
Yeah.
It's fine. No panic at all in a 1v1. Back towards middle. G2 instantly going to try and go for control, and again, any damage would be a bonus here, but ZETA bring almost nothing into this round.
Mixwell again, the front line for G2 in terms of this mid push early on. ZETA just kind of doing laps right now. They've headed over towards A. They're headed back as 5 towards B. And just classics to work with. The same, pretty much cut and paste, execute onto B site here for G2.
Okay, sights theirs.
Oh.
There's the pop flash and the TP away, and actually they're being a nuisance. Nukkye quick to react though, and AvovA quick to try and farm it up. Gets punished. Good trades again. ZETA, any damage is golden here. Now Laz can't get any more done. Kept safe in the end, 3 stands to get across the line. It felt dicey.
Where was the... There was a Phantom in play. Nukkye. I was just waiting for the UI drop down. I was like, I hope they can get behind the wall and get that Phantom, but do manage to retrieve it. This Mixwell, I mean, 3 away from the tour, of course, but it's one you maybe look towards here when G2 did suffer a few casualties. I mean, with what he's been doing in the early round, he can literally do the same with the Headhunter, so not too concerned about that. But leading the pack for G2, 14 and 8. You can find some more success here on attack. G2 knocking on the door double digits already. An opportunity here to, again, completely reset ZETA's economy. Mixwell again poking for his first blood.
I really like it. I guess another great use for Chamber, the capability to get away quickly. You can go for that almost overzealous attempt and then get away scot-free. However, ZETA do have the substantially stronger purchase here. Again, Boombot once again. Laz this time, he's okay though. And on the other side, there is still Nukkye with the rifle. So keep that in mind. This isn't a completely toothless purchase, but it is a little weaker. All trying to be handled. And ZETA being patient.
Everybody's
G2 trying to test the waters in middle.
So the next step is again another trap burnt to just confirm Laz's presence at least.
But look, on an island on the other side is TENNN.
Oh, is that 10 alone? Oh.
Primed with the paint shell, but as he spammed off the corner, he's not going to be able to put it in towards the orb.
He's so close up ramp as well. This is such a dangerous way ZETA are playing. G2 were a second round.
Oh, man. Nice. Step with them kills. Yesterday he was fucking nice. Yesterday we didn't see much highlights of him, but then, oh my god, it stopped at the
advantage, but the guillotine comes
Full
down.
keys.
And they know exactly where Mixwell is.
Gorgeous work. He went for it all himself. Gets punished in the end. Mixwell, yes, he's recovered a rifle. Maybe there's some hope for him to do a bit of damage, but with only 12 seconds, that's about all he can achieve. Is now surrounded, shut down. ZETA, lovely round as depth. What a performance.
They only lose one. A massive tick in the box here in terms of
collateral.
boost the economy.
Collateral.
G2 set shouldn't be looking too rough, that's for sure. But what around from depth. The first two line up for him, but AvovA Meddo as well. Meddo going for a cheeky run and gun with the Spectre.
That was nice. That was nice.
Again, just, it's the reaction from ZETA. The flash coming through just to make sure that Depp can at least find the third and fourth kill.
Because I want to watch it live, you know.
Of him, he's now so much higher, but AvovA's gone for the just mark your man sort of play here, pushes himself up towards ropes.
AvovA is inside.
I was going to say that smoke's about to drop. I didn't.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, interesting. I'm sure if Laz thought he was going to have a favourable peak there.
He's probably going to heal him.
All will be dealt with pretty quickly.
Siege healed him.
If Depp finds a kill, he's got the res, but it's on the other side of rope, so...
Depp with them sentinel moves.
Maybe he can take the ball down again! This guy is unreal! The pinch is coming in, he seems all too aware of that. Backs away slightly, AvovA now left to his own devices, all isolated, looking lonely. And he can't quite get to his teammates, but he can cause a problem. A 3v4, number still favourable towards ZETA, but the timing not quite there. TP time trying to get out of danger, get over towards the other side. And the right choice to be made, the safe one to be had.
This is rough now, but Depp can use the res. He has to come back through ropes. He can get Laz back up, and they'll have the Viper util. I mean, if they can get ahead of the curve here, cut Meddo off, I mean, AvovA's already going hunting.
And AvovA has to, though. He has to buy time to allow for Meddo to get a little bit close. That's the money from AvovA. I told you this guy has clutch potential every single day of the week, and now a 2v2. He's made this so much more feasible. This was a tragedy in the making. It's the timing right. Meddo trying to find one on the way through, but Depp, he just stays alive.
It's a 2v1
just about
now.
Keeps his health up. And now with the clock ticking, it's all about timing. Meddo says, screw it, I'm going to try and get through towards that player who's trying to defuse. Gets off the fight. Gorgeous work, Meddo. The timing! I think Meddo might just have done enough here, buying the time, playing them at their own game. And yeah, sure, the kill comes in, but what a round.
It's so back and forth between these two teams right now. I mean, ZETA do everything right to hold on to be heaven, but G2 flip a 2v4.
AvovA, him pushing deeper in CT is huge for them. Like, even this, like, it was like an army between him and that potential res, and it's just, that's cool.
The bait is perfect.
That was the win.
Again, Crow and TENN almost seemingly aware of the possibility still, but AvovA punishes them.
AvovA showing them why he chooses Omen, why he started playing Omen.
I was.
Yeah. I've just been pacing.
I mean, like I said, that the wall was actually perfect to cut Meddo off in main there, but he caused so many problems.
G2, man, scrappy as ever. Things you love to see between these two teams. 10-6. If you're just tuning in, you have missed a belting couple of rounds coming into this. One worth to watch again, catch up on. But it's only getting started.
Chamber to cover scope.
Is it a response now? Give Laz a second player. G2 are pressuring so hard towards mid. Not necessarily following through on it, but initially here.
Well, mixwell, right? Like, how many times have we seen him go for this and just do it with the ult this time?
This they're going for B. Yeah,
right. Three people just staring. The Rolling Thunder actually going to get posted towards Sugar on B site.
Punish rotations.
Show that.
They've closed the gap already. We're going to stun up Mixwell at bottom mid. It's a 2-for-1 elsewhere.
Yeah, they're just desperate to try and get players across. Mixwell was almost posted into this position, try to hold them on the way through, but they've done well enough to get to this point. But you're right, they still have so much to handle on the site itself. 3 players well set up, and there's a time limit. Meddo, yeah, just caught out straight away. No sweat on that one. You see Mixwell going back around, needs to rejoin the forces. Oh, it's surely 2! Only gets 1 HP! How's Hoody alive? A slither of health for Crow. Crow's closed back the gap already. Mixwell now with a 1v1. He has to push him. Crow! He falls!
My God!
Mixwell holds his ground and gets the round.
If you're not doing well, keep trying.
I need to check the damage on the showstopper.
It had to be 6 HP.
Hold up.
That looked like it was 2 every day of the week. The problem was I was looking at it hit. Oh my God.
Ow.
Oh my god.
A little to the right, then they could get got it.
I'm looking at this, I'm thinking the wall's up. If they find both kills on site, mixwell's blocked off. He's got the tour de force, but he's cut away from sight.
Oh. 11-6.
And the purchase gets scrappier for ZETA. Look at it. A dirty bucky in the midst.
You never want a dirty bucky.
No, you never want a dirty bucky.
Oh, it's the worst kind. Laz on the other side this time tries to just get out of ropes. Doesn't like it in there anymore.
Needs some breathing space.
Oh,
oh, quick trade.
It worked,
I thought you were going to maybe got the rifle away, maybe just scurried it through, but you're not fighting alone. Dep's still there. Crow's still there.
I mean, Res Online, TENN still has his paint shell.
They need the gun. Oh, went for the gun, and he died.
Punished by that, Dep will fall, and the wall broken as well. Sugar Zero. Pushing through with the bucky. Seeker's invested as well. This is interesting here from ZETA. Again, no round is lost in their eyes.
There is never a round there's not a chance in. The timing on this could be everything.
You will not kill my ally.
It looks like they've managed to at least evade a lot of those dangerous angles, but there is still a threat, at least of 10. I wonder how much he can get done from this though. Crow tries to get a little bit of attention on the cross, gives a couple more seconds into the pocket of 10. Cross comes in, spots one, sees him in CT, looks to pull the trigger, gets punished. Clean enough, and nukkye on clean up duty. This is 12 going to be beckoning here. Spamming the smoke, but we know where Sugar Zero is.
10 seconds
Great
left.
pick up on the first, but the rest is very, very hard to achieve.
Gun here.
Just get a little upgrade here, but yeah, Meddo already split away from the rest of G2. Should be able to either catch this cross or be last piece of the puzzle. There you go. We'll find Sugar. Again, I actually thought TENN was going to drift across towards mid to potentially punish that res.
Match point.
G2 now find themselves
it was
on map point.
Fast off.
ZETA opportunity to buy back in here. I mean, Dep's actually only going to have a Guardian to work with.
No, they came
Well, no real gaps in utility. No boom bot on 10 actually.
ZETA, let's win this.
G2 looking pretty comfortable now. Showstopper online as well.
I was really that vested
actually
in
an opportunity here to dial up the pressure.
I don't know if there's really like that. I think it is.
See how they come into this one again.
Let's hope it is.
Mid-control high on the priority, and nukkye unleashing. Headshot in the back and gets put to bed. The Sugar Zero is still going to be standing and trying to push a little further forward. I quite like that. Now, yes, we did see a player kind of filling that void before, but I expect it and actually going to hold a lot of space towards middle. Ult over towards the B site. Thank you, observers. Always quicker than me on it. And now 5 still standing for ZETA here. God, they're really trying to prioritize middle this time. They want to fight on it.
Well, I mean, this is G2 time and time again. ZETA are actually trying to challenge these early round protocols. I mean, trading back and forth, sure, but I don't want to see ZETA give away too much here. I mean, they can potentially lean a little heavier elsewhere on the map with that Viper's pit towards B main, so Mixwell going to catch some crucial information on the back of this wall, and actually should have good timing to get behind it. AvovA though, straight up into the smoke, will find Dep.
He's trying to just peel away into a nasty position to clear as well. Flash comes in, Crow gets punished off the back of it. Meddo now going to take that space, but Sugar Zero's waiting!
Sugar!
Looking real sweet with it. Backs away, going to outdo Mixwell as well. The guy is just feeling that time just right. Unfathomable presence from him. And there's still life. There's still rounds to be played out.
Sugar Zero. It's Sugar Zero.
Wow. What a clutch from Sugar. Just absolutely stops G2 in their tracks. And the hit looks really good from G2, honestly.
I like the
initially
name
we
too.
saw nukkye a little ahead of the curve. We were saying they could opt for a little bit of a pace change here, but Sugar absolutely
all spicy.
puts them down. A big sigh of relief.
Too sweet, my brother.
They cling to life just yet on split. Actually,
That's another tick in the box, right? Because you've got G2 now going.
I don't know if you like it or not, but
get complacent. Let's not kind of forget the amount of danger this team can create. Now, of course, G2 have been in the driving seat this half, though. I think that's quite clear to see, sitting at 12. And they've looked quite solid in how they've been approaching it. But there has been danger. This is the first time we've seen that mid-fight now being challenged.
It's always at the 12th round that people get stuck.
Love the music.
Yeah, lighten the mood a little bit. We're on map point. This one's making it in the highlights, isn't it?
Beautiful moves, mate.
But whether or not, I say that pace change, again, now that ZETA are so conditioned to want to stop G2's kind of freedom of movement almost, at least towards mid, at least relieve some of that pressure towards Laz.
Yeah.
Now whether or not G2's answer is to then dig a little deeper, stack a couple more bodies behind it. There was just a paranoia with nukkye, whether or not the showstopper was the end result there, but he's not able to close the gap quick enough.
Everybody's freaking pros.
Yeah, a rifle thrown in the mix here for nukkye. I mean, he's got the credits anyway
killing
to back
5
this up.
freaking pros in one round. Freaking
keep the economy even. And the hero rifle in his hands can do a lot. And we see what the adjustments are across the board. May not see it in full effect this round at least, but when we get that full purchase coming in.
Well, Laz still has no fear whatsoever. He hears the TP, he's like, I'm swinging it.
He's been given the hardest role in this half at least. Right now is just dealing with this constantly. And yeah, Depp's been doing
just been doing a nice job supporting him. That's what you're gonna say, ain't you? No,
somewhat of a similar thing, but you can see the amount of attention and the amount of priority they put towards clearing that position. But this is different from G2, but again, they are working with cherubs. Just that one rifle, of course. Looking for maybe a little burst. Gorgeous flash. Timing's great.
Yeah.
That's an instant information finder. You can maybe consider moving Laz over now if you want to draw the attention in. TP coming through.
They're giving this up. Again, they're respecting the showstopper. They know that ultimately they have the inventory advantage coming back in, especially after the showstopper's burnt up.
Good read. And nukkye's still your danger man. So he leans towards CT to try and make the difference. He's got support though. He's not alone. He will not stand alone, but mixwell falls. So nukkye has to back away, but he takes one with him at least. That's Sugar0 gone, who's been impactful to say the very least.
Meddo as well, this late mid lurk as well. Would deal with the Trailblazer.
Look, nukkye's just taking all of that space. Yeah. He wants to be the one to challenge everyone. I said it, this man with a hero rifle can do hero-like things, and nukkye might be doing it all for G2. Unreal way to close it down in map 1.
Literally, the hero rifle closes things down for G2, but I'm actually blown away by that. That scoreline doesn't do ZETA's performance justice, I don't feel. That was such a close game between these two teams. G2 able to win out in this war of attrition, it felt like.
What a great game.
Exhausting for the players, honestly. That is one of the most mentally taxing games you can watch.
Lovely performance from both teams. I think G2 have presented several problems and came up with answers. We saw that explosive nature and similar scenes from ZETA, unable to quite find those answers fast enough, I feel, in the second half.
No, sure, you can't really take anything away from the troubleshooting of either of these teams. I mean, ZETA made all the right moves on defense in terms of adjustments, in terms of addressing where G2 were looking to prioritize in the early round, but you were able to ultimately run away with this one. I mean, only 2 rounds on the defense for ZETA, and that was a concern presented by Bren on the analyst desk, and I think it really showed.
It did, it echoed through, but the one beauty of this is it's not just one map, we've got plenty more to come. And I think, as much as yes, the scoreline does look quite stark to an extent, the way you highlighted it doesn't represent what we necessarily saw within the rounds. So I think there is still a very real possibility this could be a 3-mapper, and that really brings me right back into it.
I mean, it's going to be interesting to see behind that for me is one that is probably a little more concerned than Split, given ZETA's previous performances. Sure. Just with how damn good G2 have looked on Bind recently. Sure. That's really, really concerning to me. Like I said, for me, it came down to taking Split. If you're a ZETA fan, I wanted to see them close this one out. Yep. But again, anything's possible. Whether or not ZETA have anything now to, the ace up the sleeve, so to say, and we see something really geeky on Bind. That's the question for me.
It could be a possibility. There's a real chance of it, and I want to get there, right? I want to get to that map too, so let's not waste any time. You love this phrase, guys, at home. You've heard it so many times. A short break. It's coming up. Do stick around. We'll be back to the desk on map 2 in a moment.
Me and my freaking viewers love it. That was nice. That was a nice freaking. Oh, I don't. Yeah, that's what I said. Ayo, that's my way of saying it. I always say ayo too, man. Welcome. Ah, I did send it. So it's fine. Oh, I'm streaming. One person watching. And the other person is me. It sucks. I let people get my worries, bro. I really like doing that. Oh, is that?
Take a look, hey.
I'm probably watching it. Y'all don't like basketball? Let me just watch something that y'all would like. Mrs. Nam explains why you actually saw. Oh, man, that freaking hurts. That freaking hurts. Let me just watch that though.
I tried changing every sense and still suck ass. Do I continue or just retire FPS in general? Dude, maybe it's not your settings. You just have to get good, you know? You gonna quit? You think it's the magical setting that'll make you good? Not how it works. Imagine.
Magic. It's grinding, right? It's all about the grind and all. I know that even though I'm not really a pro, but I know that. Cause I suck at it. I sucked at it too much, man.
I don't mean this as discouragement. I mean this as encouragement. Like, oh.
Is that the game where he gets 4 kills and dies?
I picked a random ass sense trying to copy a pro player.
4 kills. He gets 4 kills though. I don't remember if he died or not.
I copied it wrong. In fact, I used the wrong sense.
He doesn't get it.
And then I just played and got good with it.
Yeah. He gets 4 kills. I told you he gets 4 kills. I told you. I know.
Dragon, you know?
I know what I watched, man. I know what I watched. I know what I watched.
It's the first time we've seen G2 Esports and Masters Reykjavik, and boy, did they not disappoint there to go one map up against ZETA Division. But if we ignore the score line, the game was much, much closer than it actually was, Brent. It was not easy for G2 whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, it had to be some amazing individual moments, I think, from a lot of G2 members as well to clutch up some moments as well. I mean, the first half as well was incredibly close between. You can see the potential there with ZETA Division, but G2 as a team, they are just so clean with the fundamentals.
Yeah, exactly. And talking a little bit onto that attack coming in from G2, the presence that mixwell was having onto mid, forcing them and actually made them compelling to just use the utility and keep an eye always on what's happening on that part of the map. Actually gave them so much control over what was going on in the rest of the round that just, I'm not saying it made it easy for G2, because as we said, the rounds were extremely close, but we had a great show. Yeah, I mean, and this is the bread and butter of what makes G2 such a formidable team, is this round here is a fantastic example. I mean, mixwell is such a threat in mid. They commit the dog to him. I think they commit the nade afterwards as well to try and clear him out a flash, using everything because they know he's holding this crossfire. And G2, they don't just do this with this isn't like some planned strategy. This is something that's off the cuff. They know that mixwell is, you know, he's got the tour de force in hand. He's able to hold down middle to make it so draining for him. And this was such a close round. I mean, ZETA.
Ah, that's where he clutches, man. If you just killed that guy, man.
Still almost won this, and it just gets dragged.
It would have been a 3v2 if that right down. A 3v1 if that showstopper fucking worked.
Overall, this is what makes G2 such a scary roster, and in my eyes, one of the favorites as well, leading into the tournament further and beyond, because they will cook up stuff like that all the time in a round. It's not set. You can't prep for that. They just come up with it on the fly, they cook it up, and it works out most times. Now, Hoody's not going to be able to get 4K every time, but it does help when he does.
Still, that's what we talk about. Even if Hoody is the one getting the kills, is the presence of mixwell onto mid being like, we just cannot cross. We cannot go through to the force. We need to invest a lot. The wall was also invested, and you just give the time into the rest of it.
True, I guess.
Also, it started with the fact that Showstopper only got 1. It didn't get
Hoody survived, he got 6.
Yes.
That's what I was talking about.
And we speak about the way that
it would have
G2
been
always
a 3v1.
seems to be in around no matter what
he killed
happens.
2
One
freaking
man who's
people after
always,
that.
Facilitating
killed
a lot
10,
of that
the one
is nukkye.
who
We
was
have in
stop. It didn't really work as nice as I thought it did.
If nukkye is still alive, it's not over.
Everybody's
It's never
working.
over. And it doesn't matter what agent he's playing, it doesn't matter if he thinks he's IGL, and if he tells us in the interview that he's going to be in the back, just looking at the minimap, he doesn't even need to look at the rest of the game.
They're not even playing Ascent.
It's just, it doesn't matter. He needs to play, he's like, oh, they're going to pair me bad Ascent. But yeah, still.
I love that. You know, they're not even playing this map, but Bren.
Yeah, nukkye is such a fantastic individual. He took control of the second half of that map in a lot of instances where he was leading the charge of his team and calling for the trades to happen. And that's the kind of power that you get when your star player is also your IGL and everyone has to listen to you. Sometimes it backfires, you know, if the egos are clashing. But when it actually works out and the egos aren't clashing, my word, is it effective. I mean, this guy is such a phenomenal aimer.
Yeah, and still, even though he's picking up the IGL role, I feel like we can see in the game that not every decision comes from him. And I think he also said in the interview, it's not only what I see, it's what my players tell me. It's like, okay, I'm taking control over B lobby. There's nothing here. Do we have anything prepared for this? And then we react.
Yeah, also, you guys can get nukkye's crosshair as well if you scan the QR code. Definitely one I would recommend. But that was map 1. And it's time for us to talk about map 2, of course. We are heading to Bind. This is a G2's pick. And this is where I feel like, Bren, things get a little bit dicey for Zeta.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Bind and an icebox.
Again, they struggle with the same kind of issues in terms of their defensive side setups or just their round win rates across the board. If you look at it, it's not ideal for them. And then running into G2 on Bind. G2 on Bind, these guys are menaces. You do not want to play this map into them. At times, they look like the best Bind team in the world.
There's 7 and then I'm still in
actually beat Ascent. That was something that nobody expected. And the way that they played the map, I think that they're actually starting on the attack, and that gives me the chills. Because if you have not, for some reason, I've not seen G2 playing on attack on Bind, it's literally just hit after hit of nukkye, just double satchel, just nade, and they go B 100 times in a row. And it doesn't matter that there's no way to stop them. So I really want to see, you know, especially since we're probably expecting to see the same composition coming in from ZETA, even though they still haven't played this map in this competition, they might struggle with that.
Yeah, but of course, Laz played the Viper last map, expected to play the Viper here as well.
Yes, if they don't change their compositions. And I pulled up this head-to-head as well just to show the statistical difference. Laz's Viper, Laz's Chamber, and you can see the numbers difference. I don't need to say it out for you. Look at the ACS. It's massive between them. Now, obviously, this is going to be the case. You're not going to be able to have as much impact when you're playing Viper compared to Chamber. They do different things in terms of their kits. But the reason I bring this up is to say that Laz should not be playing Chamber on Bind. It should completely ruin their compositions. It's more of a statement of how important this guy is to the team, that they need him to have these Chamber level performances to get the really solid wins, I think. And now's the time where I'm looking at Laz as an individual. He's on a less impactful role compared to the Chamber. They're probably going to stick to the default compositions the same way they ran the split.
He played Chamber
it's up to
yesterday
him, I think, as well, to have the same. I'm not
see
going to
what
say the
they
same level of
picked
performance
this
that he
time.
gets on Chamber. That's not fair to him because it's impossible. But
I finished salmon tomorrow, but I don't really submit it till 12, 11, 15 hours tomorrow, so I got time, you know. Laz still wants to pick Viper. TENNN but no, it's just
we're into the Prime Gaming agent select now, and of course we're not expecting any changes on the side of G2.
They're picking the same. They're going with the same lineups, okay?
No, they went back to the they went back to that's probably from last game.
Yeah. For the FPX game, I believe they went back to the Omen on this map. I think it was. But yeah, Laz on the Viper, as you said, it's going to be a little bit more restricted. But how do you guys see ZETA come out of this hole? They did
their attack side is always going to be better for them. I'm not sure what side they're actually starting on.
I think they're starting on the fence.
On the defense side.
This
is a rough uphill battle.
I mean, was being initiated bridge. That's the only thing that changed, right?
And speaking of that, let's jump back into map 2 with the Pansy and
The
Hopper.
controllers is Meddo.
Yeah, let's do it.
Oh,
no more waiting around. I just want to get in the game here because you're walking into the Lion's Den, right? Like, this is one that G2 has made look very, very comfortable. I don't need to kind of oversell that to most people. If you've seen them play, you know this really suits who G2 are. So ZETA have their work cut out here.
They do, and really I just want to touch on the compositions quickly. Still keeping this after the double controller, which the desk just leaned on. I want to see a couple more traps set up. For the way that G2 were playing, and ZETA's ability to address in terms of, I guess just fighting fire with fire, right? They were looking to challenge some of this early pressure in mid. I want to see them make use of a couple of very, very key traps.
The map
specifically
is
towards short and hooker.
map.
Maybe
If
even
you
showers,
don't know
but
where it
yes,
is,
it might.
I didn't know till now, so I'm just
Short control here,
to you right
straight
now.
down.
Oh,
Let's go. Okay, we're off to a fiery
straight
start.
up.
I guess that's one way to do it. Just instantly put G2 on the back foot. He
Oh.
still stands, but not for long. You got 3 players to fight. The pistol round looking heavily likely as those frenzies.
Hoodie with them
Hoodie!
shots.
Just get 3.
Oh, Hoodie just
Well,
got 3.
I guess it's fine. They were fine all along.
Looks like they were about to win.
They line up perfectly. It's heartbreaking to see ZETA lose 3 in that manner, but Laz and Sugar left to try and recover this, and Meddo.
Hoodie and Meddo did it. Oh my god, that was nice, that was nice. Everybody's
The audacity just pushes back in.
friendly.
Okay,
Is
well,
it because they bought them utilities?
I thought ZETA had done enough.
That's how you win a 2v5, I guess. Again, the timing is absolutely devastating for them. A nice little set piece down, like I said, it really looks like they just want to take absolute control of this.
This is where it changed.
Oh. Okay. Like from the other POV, I thought they were like
Yeah.
relatively okay on the swing around, but apparently not. Well,
That's a tilter.
Map 2, yeah.
That's a tilter as well.
that was the start that they dreamed of, right? That would have been perfect. Now, correct stack, but we know the weapons they come in with. So you're hoping for the best. And already the utility just poured in.
Oh,
Good
someone
flashes,
bought a
though, AvovA's
phantom.
blind, but
Someone
Mixwell's
bought a
safe
phantom in a
in keeping them under
They're
control.
buying it.
Now
Oh,
Sugar 0. Gonna get 1.
Sugar.
That's about it. Quick round 2. No messing here from G2.
G2 winning them 2 rounds in a row.
Let's see how many. Yeah, so Mixwell 2 off the tour de force already. Potential for that to be online. And this round or the next.
So Maxwell.
Yeah, throw through and maybe just
Oh,
run the head.
Meddo and Hoodie.
Whether or not that's just to build up a little bit of a buffer here and
Mixwell
rely on that
3
tour de
kills
force
right
and they
now.
make a play for the orbs here. Really looking for ZETA to
Okay.
close this one out, coming in with a
Nice.
full bite.
That's how it
G2
goes.
actually, I mean, really
ZETA
comfortable
got
in terms of
more
next
because they
purchase.
had a
And that's with 2
freaking
rifles in this round. 3 if you include the
equal
Guardian.
round.
Look at the pace again. Nukkye just happy to go. Unleashing.
Yeah,
There's a lot of
both
players here
them
though.
got
Gonna get
guns, so it
caught by
doesn't really
10.
matter much, I guess.
He's already hoping to stay in hand, at least for now. For
10
ZETA,
got a
what they've lost
kill.
in the meantime. But he's taking the space over towards long, but he's caught in between both of them. Barrel showing Mitchell knows his players here. Prepared for one, couldn't convert on the second.
Nice
Trade
trade.
comes out.
A trade
Numbers
comes
still
out.
sit favourably towards ZETA.
Now it's 4v2. Oh, we didn't look at that
Score
side.
that spike revealed.
B.
Meddo,
Full
last man standing with the Guardian. Just
Oh,
missed the rifle. Little
G2.
Pro. I mean, anybody else
Meddo.
falls from ZETA here is a little concerning.
Oh,
And concern, because he's on 82 HP. Yes, spammed out a little lower now, but at 1v2, it's not impossible. He's got 50 seconds still to toy around with. Yeah, the spike's position's not great, but he knows where these 2 players reside. A little bit of utility as well, could facilitate the drop. See what he can do with this. They're waiting on the other
just
side to
have
hear
to
the
read.
drop.
Just have to
Want
read.
to know what's up.
Oh.
Doesn't get the clean fight he wanted in depth as well, but you're right. After what
That
was looking
bam
quite
kill.
like a clean round there for ZETA, actually gets brought down to just 2 remaining.
Again, early intention shown from ZETA here in terms of challenging this hooker control as well. You see straight away G2, I mean, they're eager to just find something off on the back of Nukkye.
Hoodie was playing
With the
Sage
awareness there,
Prep
that kill
round,
in
right?
particular on certain.
Yeah. Mixer was that one.
Hoodie after he did drift through long. Yeah, much calmer in the comms now.
So I was playing Hoodie was
Sounded a bit more
playing
composed.
Sage.
See what G2.
Nikkye was playing, AvovA was playing, so
might be
I guess
is
Meddo was
the
doing.
target once again.
It was playing
Mixwell did
great.
actually get the tour de force
Hoodie was
available,
playing
so
Sage, yes, no. They changed it
Put
for
that to
Sage
work
to
here.
Scar.
Utility on
Ah,
the side,
yeah,
sorry, the respect being
shit.
shown. Pro's going to fall back a little, keep putting utility in, but he knows where they're coming from. They need to hit this rotation and relatively quick. Still have a player towards Suka, though, so they've not completely lost control, but they've shown presence. They've hit the brakes for a second.
This time around, it's just Laz to contest Nukkye. Also, good. The ping's coming through already.
What a
See
fight.
that?
I've got your trail.
Okay. After that pause for thought, they're going to invest the Seekers, but they still yet to rework the back of it just now. Mixwell going to lead the charge. Nukkye still being held away
Mixwell
for
is
the moment
inside.
small. As the first fight happens towards elbow, and it's a shutdown, it's a shutdown. Yeah, Meddo's still standing. Oh my word!
Meddo got 2 freaking flicks.
Sharp. But it matters
That
not.
was
Now it's just nukkye.
Nukkye.
Maybe I should never say just nukkye, as we saw what that one rifle could do in the final round in the last map, but this would be a challenge. Tucked just under that balcony ledge. Certainly no Romeo and Juliet at this point, but nukkye desperate to try and get into this. Goes for the first, closes the gap, gets the kill, and now on 1v2, surely not to be as Crow. And again, it's not
that was nice.
It's a round. Tied up now, 2-2.
I mean, that's actually a great
know.
Again,
I've noticed as people, it's always two fucking wins continuously, and then the one that wins the first 2 rounds, always the at least time I'm watching, I guess. So, let's go. Let's have decided this match, I guess.
G2, we reset a little bit. Actually, this is almost the one where you'd hope Mixwell would have had to tour de force. We'll throw a rifle in the mix. Full armor as well, actually, so probably going to be the front man.
Now,
massive adjustment here.
Mixwell leading the charge with Chamber. I guess that's why people like Chamber.
Spin the wheel here at this point. Laz is the only one
just go back whenever he can, wants to, just retreat.
Meddo going to show a little bit of presence towards short. But again, still 3 people here to hold it down.
So they're probably going to feel the lack of presence from utility. But feel the presence.
You got the trade. You got the trade.
Could take Crow down, but still favourable to ZETA with those weapons. It was clear close. Reveals depth position. Slow comes in. Laz now turns attention as well. Buying a little bit of time. Smoke goes deep CT. But again, ZETA holding for a couple more seconds. And the grand reveal spots them out. Spots out a second. Oh, it's target practice right now.
Yeah, but them clutch scenes. No, not really clutch, but then them freaking scenes. His veins be vibrating, bumping, hot bumping. His freaking heart. He's feeling the heat. Oh my god, that was nice.
But this again is just a stark reminder of the caliber of these 2 teams.
And again, actually the replay starts with nukkye hitting a really crisp shot on the jump peak here, but Depp lines him up. Great discipline just to commit to the taps there. Closes them out once again. Another B-site hold, which, again, I don't want to say it's concerning for G2, but to be shut out comfortably a couple of times here may force them to explore elsewhere on the map. And again, they really learned an awful lot in terms of the setup of ZETA on A site.
Sentinels did win the last champion, but coming from the lower set, so maybe this time it's ZETA.
Facilitate the trade,
you never know.
Down depth. And Sugar Zero still going to
God,
hold control. Towards lamps, 10.
I thought ZETA more, so I don't know, man. Then right now I want to put ZETA, man. I like it.
Got the ult. nukkye right back at him.
So it's
some more
3v2
gymnastics from nukkye to avoid the showstopper here.
Ridiculous. This man.
What he can do in this position.
I mean, he's got to become the turret, right? He's trying to hold the line for them. They're trying to allow that plant to come in, create a little bit of safety, because they obviously don't have lamps control right now. They have a very limited slice of the map.
Good awareness from G2 not to force their way into that as well.
Yeah.
There's a judge on the other side. Exactly, yeah.
So there's 3 views at the eyes holding
Laz has got past the trap, so keep your eye on the minimap if that late.
Then no one's holding that side, so maybe the Laz can come back. Oh, it's nice. That was
nukkye, but there is a quick trade.
Oh,
gets caught, though. Timing
no, it's
not
only
good enough. Mixwell
Mixwell.
catches, they try and make their way through.
It's a 1v1. It's a 1v1.
Now, do they
It's on. Oh,
nice. He just got him.
There's no time. Reads the sound cue perfectly, though.
Oh, man.
Again, it's tough
that
for
was
Laz because
nice.
ultimately when those kills come through on site, he then
Too
has
late.
he has to put his foot down. He has to go. Another close round. G2 actually closed this one out. After saying that, it felt like a little bit of an overstep from AvovA there. I don't think that was too influential in terms of the outcome,
but it's different, Laz.
Nice. That was a nice fight.
And I've seen a couple of looks now coming out from
ZETA's taking a time out now.
Redissecting what's tangibly in front of them.
Well, this is, I mean, in terms of prep, I know, again, the Death touched on this.
This match is making me
game plan
freaking
is
stressed out.
usually fairly linear. So this could be something that does force a bit of adjustment from ZETA. Now, previous round, they did look to get a little aggressive outside hooker. That gave, ultimately, Laz the space to flank all the way through cave. Unfortunately, it didn't really benefit them too much, but they do find a little space, I do want to see them continue with that and pressure the backline of G2. Because ultimately, everything's going right in terms of the pressure that G2 are able to create towards long. Even though ZETA are relying on these straight-up angels almost when contact comes through. But no, again, no address towards showers just yet from either side, other than nukkye coming through and finding 1 kill in the previous, but they were spread pretty thin in that default. So interested to see here whether or not this timeout is actually going to prompt any change for ZETA. I'll keep my eyes here. As actually now will take up position towards A site instead. Actually, he's got 3 friends over here as well if Depp decides to stay. Now, do G2 read the change in utility here? See a couple of bits of Astro utility popped outside shower as well, so whether or not this is going to be an all-out hold or the snake bite to back this up as well.
Blinded. 2 freaking people. Blinded right there. One with the judge. The judge is scary in the right freaking hands, man.
Oh, it's close to the chest. Shower will remain in control now. AvovA's going to hit that TP. Gets himself up towards heaven.
AvovA is up there.
AvovA is up there. Shower, and the rotation could be potentially now cut off. Looking isolated in the old even to allow the cross with the spike. This is tough for ZETA. Oh, an early read towards where TENN's position could be, and wow.
0-10 with the kill. So that was nice. Now he's rotating.
Super quick from TENN.
Doesn't pull nukkye off showers though. That's important. Sugar's still posted up. Laz, still aware of the possibility of AvovA stuck there, and actually they come through to try and clear it. What? Is that one passed? He has no idea. Oh my god, dude, he took 2 hours.
That was some hella.
I don't think he saw him. I don't think he saw him on the cross. And now Depp is in the weirdest spot here to try and handle it.
Oh my god. That was freaking nice hoodie with them. Freaking nice moves right there.
Doesn't find what they want. Spike now recovered. 8 seconds for the flash to be back, but he wants that spike down. He wants at least the time on his side.
Oh, it's got time on his side now. It's 2v2 because time is only his side.
Hand now for hoody. Repositioned to be able to catch this cross. Harder to clear and no flashes to do so. His body's on the line. He's going to find one on the spacing. Not good enough for a quick trade out. It's now a bit laboured on the spray.
Hoody,
does well.
4K, hoody, 4K.
Into showers like that.
The red ball clutch from hoody. The timing on that flash is crazy. I'm not sure if we're going to have the benefit of a replay here, but Laz tucks into the corner just to avoid that angle from heaven. ZK doesn't clear it. Again, it doesn't end up biting them. What a round from hoody though.
That was all hoody. That was all hoody.
But the awareness from ZETA as well to still hold on to that setup. The awareness to still be cautious of heaven.
That was all hoody.
That was all hoody. Absolutely double down on that control.
My team. My Asian brothers.
Purchase is going to be left for ZETA. It's not ideal. 2 rifles.
My Asian brothers gotta come back.
Odds and ends, and on the other side, good enough, but not perfect either. And a quick take towards Hookah. A little bit of a switch up here, a little bit of a different look, but 3 players making their way through from shower. You can see that instant crunch towards Meddo. So backline now looking a little vulnerable for G2. They have to be aware of this. There's a time limit on what they can do here.
Sugar 0.
That's even more concerning.
Waiting, lying in bed. Sugar 0. It's a 3v4 5 family.
I think they're expecting that potentially ZETA kept pushing round, going almost into the G2 side. They didn't expect them here, and they didn't expect that shot. Oh, he gets another. Unreal performance.
The last one. Hoody.
You don't fancy it with this sort of coming in, not
didn't get 4Ks this round.
And ZETA
No 4K clutch.
Dangerous.
I mean, I called it. This is exactly what I want to see from ZETA. They find a little bit of space and they make it work from in a round that actually they bring barely anything into.
Yeah.
They punish G2, and yeah, absolutely. They call the timeout here because they need to address it. This is the problem with G2's kind of game plan here. If it is all in, and it usually is 4, potentially 5 people, they can find that weak spot, which in this case it is Meddo.
God, the aim on these players.
It's tough because now G2 just down, man. He's looking so good on bind so far.
Yep.
So good. But G2 have to they have to address this. Whether or not they slow this down now for a couple of rounds, I mean, the economy, I don't want to say ruined, but dwindling for sure. Mixwell got that order force online, 4100. Elsewhere, gaps.
Now, the one thing with G2, let's kind of bring it back into the realm of reality of, you know, when we talk about honeymoon periods and roster changes and players coming back in, you do lose a little bit of that potential depth to adjustment because you're still working on maybe new protocols, new looks, working with a newish system. I do want to see how G2 look when they are pushed. When it's come to not necessarily mid-honeymoon period where you just next time you can't make a wrong move. So I do want to see, be it with ZETA here, potentially pushing him to that extent on a map that they are historically very strong on. I do want to see how G2 look when they have to adjust. Haven't seen too much of it just yet. Obviously, the first day they've come to this tournament, so we haven't seen them push to that extent. But that's something to really keep in your mind as you go and watch these guys further into this event. Is how do they look when they've been pressured? How do those adjustments coming back in look? How's the coaching looking? Does it seem that they have the correct answers even in mid-rounds as well? A lot of question marks still around G2, but obviously you have to respect the results they've got recently. Back into this though, we're at 4-4.
ZETA will control showers early on here. Mixwell with the tour de force, going to try and find something. Hoody elsewhere with a Marshall. With the Viper's Pit. Invested actually to cover both sides of entry onto B's site.
I'm freaking streaming.
Does give them control of, I guess, the hooker dropout and towards Garden, but Nukkye again investing the hero rifle here. We know how influential that was in the closing out of map 1.
There.
And G2 doing exactly what I said. They're slowing things down just a little bit. But this round, ZETA, I mean, reading the purchase pretty well. They don't want to overstep the mark. Give away a freebie here. I mean, look at this. There's 45 seconds left. They're just now coming back towards A. No information whatsoever. And ZETA can just tuck in.
And there's still explosive potential though with G2, so
everything
we said.
Nice.
Real quick, just stuck around living in that second between death and life and took one with him. 30 seconds
true,
left. Taking the space back, Boombot dealt with, unfazed by it. Oh, Hoody, what a shot. Sugar Zero gone, and there's now danger. Plenty of mixwell.
He's waiting. Someone's lying in wait, Deb. Someone's lying in wait, Deb. And that someone is Mix.
12 seconds.
The timing was freaking
unthinkable almost. Now they don't have shower control. Keep that in mind for G2. They have not
Hoody's low.
Have the depth of the weapons, but they have into heaven. He's a madman. He's taken down Depp and he's taken the space. CT is not safe for ZETA to play back in from. They need the other side of this to find value. TENNN though, looking to find Mixwell, who's still got that ult popped. Still waiting on the other side. Flash comes in.
Time is on.
Don't make the most of it yet. Spots the barrel, spots the player, gets the kill.
There's an op right there.
They can't find a way back into this. ZETA have been outdone on this G2 looking sharp.
Oh, there's a guy there.
Oh, nice. This is looking like it's wrapped. The time ain't gonna have it. And Laz, yeah, you can do the damage, but the round will be G2's.
Nice, that was
G2 and Thrifty,
nice
man.
spot.
Again,
Oh my god, Hoody and AvovA.
Sometimes for them. Put this round out. I mean, AvovA taking a leaf out of Marvel here in the case.
See that? And then AvovA with that crazy move that just didn't expect.
Come on.
He raid him and he raid him like a bug. I rate you like a bug, that's what they got said. I'm pretty sure.
That was almost so painful.
You're gonna like that, sir? I'm gonna teleport. Teleportation. And it goes in. It kills him. That's life.
I like this aggressive play. Tried to make it work. There was an exchange. Trade back and forth.
Timing's all it.
By 10, and he expected the push up of Mixwell. Gets shattered. There's now 3 stand for G2. That early trade out of players. Yes, it takes Crow away, but still.
And this is the big win, though, because we talked about this being attempted in a previous round. This time they're rewarded for it. Early advantage here in terms of numbers. Actually, AvovA and Meddo trying to find space elsewhere. I'm not sure if Hoody's even noted yet. He's burnt up a flash, the second one back off cooldown now. And the Seekers will be invested on B, but not going to learn an awful lot with the placement invested, and already ZETA have got 3 towards A site.
They had Meddo spamming like not too long ago.
Hey, look where TENNN is.
that fussed, and the spike is down in the back lines. He might spot that. I don't think he noted the spike. I don't think he went too far yet. But does he hear a step? No, Woody's taken his time. He is shift walking the entire way. But he's going to be right in between, like, no man's land. This is a really weird position. Surely, if he just holds this spot, he's going to have such late round impact. He's surely going to spot a player. He does. There it is. TENN finds...
hears this now.
Yeah, there's the steps. Now he knows. You can see the call, but he doesn't need support. He's got this all himself. Swings for the fight, and he gets AvovA as well. ZETA are digging their heels in.
That? He finds an ace, Lauren. And again, it's off this early push out of Hooker. They
little pop flash.
Yep, they catch G2. G2 weren't here last time that ZETA tried this. Actually, I think nukkye's playing full anti-flash here. Still the awareness of the possibility. And mixwell, unfortunately, I mean, tries to catch him in the slow. What a round from TENN, man.
Beautiful work.
Let's just say, yeah, I'm going for it.
I want it.
Oh my god. The moment I come up,
Even Depp,
TENN
man,
just rocks this freaking round, man. Oh, that was a highlight. Oh, my bad.
15 and 7, 13 and 6.
And look, I've seen the Laz show. I've seen the Sugar Zero show. I'm glad I get to see a little bit more, right? A little bit of everyone else showing how good these guys are. They're pushing G2 on what is their stronghold. I can't reiterate that enough to you. Already depth.
No.
Good start.
Yeah, that's better.
Mixwell trying to find that time again, find that space again. He gets punished for it.
I'm really curious to see how the first pod counter here, because that's the cornerstone of G2's success here is early advantages and then, like I said, bullying their way onto sites.
AvovA is low, and nukkye is the only one, other one that's left.
nukkye and AvovA, I mean, AvovA and 6 HP left in this one. nukkye again with a rifle in hand, one away from the showstopper here.
Oh.
Don't expect it to be invested in this round, but
Laz comes out. Oh, I told him, and Laz is gonna kill that guy. AvovA is low. AvovA is low. It's really a hard dribble thing. It's not really impossible because nothing is impossible. I don't find.
You have Tommy the turret.
You know what I mean? A dribble. Low dribble. He was low on health. Low HP.
Well, let's see what Barry can do going forward, shall we?
Barry has been pivotal in terms of G2's
flawless
early on.
Yeah?
Yeah, he really has.
Really?
That was a nice round, but better.
And this could open... I know this sounds bad, but I want to see that third map. Like, I just want to see Icebox. Please.
Yeah, I mean, we come back to that discussion earlier. As G2 going to dial up the pace a little bit here. TENN
got damage, TENN got damage, TENN got damage.
Showstopper here. Barry's going to trade off.
Oh!
What? How does this happen?
TENN down to 22 HP.
Still standing. Still standing, still firing, and still holding back G2. They almost got baited into it. Temptation beckoned, and they answered the call, and they merely found TENN on the other side. Still alive and kicking. And this looks like it could be 7-5. I'm just seeing 3 players. We've got mixwell, hoody, and Meddo, and they don't have much early progress anywhere now. They lost out on that shower fight. They weren't able to take much space back elsewhere, but eyes on the spike. It's over towards B for now.
TENN will hear that sound cue. Already this rotation coming towards B side. Viper's Pit invested, but G2 going to drift back towards 8. It's going to be TENN and Crow to hold down the fort. Trailblazers should give it away.
Just instantly they pick up the pace, trying to close the gap. TENN though, how much more can you do? The master of disaster at the start, and he wants a little bit more here. There's all these
30 seconds left.
We're taking the sight away from him. He's still waiting around on the other side. A little bit of utility invested, but surely he knows it's on guarding that spike plant. Flash comes in. It was a fake flash, but he's still unable to make the most of it. Mixwell takes him down. Rez comes in. TENN's back up, and they make the most of him with a second life. No trade of back. Actually, tell a lie. Sugar Zero found Meddo in the meantime, and now 2. Mixwell hoody, make it just hoody, and he's a mile away, and he can't even see that spike. The diffuse is coming in. No matter which way you cut it, it's going to be 7-5.
What a recovery from ZETA. Honestly, the adjustment perfect. And actually, on the other side of that, G2's adjustment really not suiting them. When they were forced into a deeper, a more traditional setup in the early round, and they couldn't bully their way into territory control, it really did not look good, Lauren. It really didn't.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of dumbfounded by this half, because ZETA have looked sharp on this. I really like how they're looking, and they are pushing G2 to the limit, and that is a great indicator for the second half. But before we get there, we're back to the
let's go, my Asian brother. Asian
Thank you
brother,
very much, Pansy and
let's
Hypoc,
go.
and of course Barry as well. Barry the Boombot doing really well that half. But when we went into that game, Bren, you said if ZETA can pull it close, that
they can make it even. There's hope.
Yes, but they're leading.
They are leading right now. This is such a good sign for them, and now they need to take it home moving forwards. Honestly, because it is set up for them to bring this to map 3.
Yeah, completely. And it's very complicated, you know, to actually force G2 to change their plans completely. They force them to dance around the map and do things that they were not ready to do. And we need to highlight Hoody, because I think he's trying to fight to be one of the flags of the moment. He wants to be put out there. He wants us to talk about him and his performance, not only on map 1, but also map 2 is being crucial to the team. Still, G2 wasn't feeling comfortable at all in executing.
Yeah, I mean, Hoody's had some amazing, impactful moments over the course of the series thus far. And sometimes you need a little bit more of that, honestly, because it does feel like they've corrected a lot of the mistakes. Coming into this, they are one of the teams that's making the fastest improvements with each match they play.
Between Viper and...
I mean, this was a ridiculous
opening.
That is okay. Sometimes you get glimpses of a little misplays, you know, that the spacing wasn't quite there, and they're not covering for them. Laz somehow let somebody go past, but ultimately, ZETA Division are not a team that you can just come into this with. I'm not going to say zero preparation, because that would be quite disrespectful to G2, but I still think that ZETA Division...
Gotta learn how to play Frenzy.
Yeah, completely. I don't know what to expect from the
Frenzy.
second half, because the problem is that ZETA Division's not only movement, but aim is 100% on point. Like, the plays that we are seeing, both TENN and Deb, is just insane, the plays that they're managing to pull. If they can do the same, if we see TENN exploding onto B2A, it doesn't matter, but eating all that space that G2 is going to be so afraid to keep.
So what I'm hearing is
we're gonna get the nice box that you wanted to.
We got some believers on the desk.
No, I really want to see this go back.
Did we see the same half? How are you not a believer?
I've been a believer since the first minute, you two. But let's see how much our belief is gonna pay off, because Pansy and Hypoc, we gotta have the second half.
Asian brother, let's get this done. My Asian brothers, let's get this done.
We are absolutely huffing that in right now, because there is a chance, but it's
is that racist?
And there is
I don't
very
think it is.
That G2 are respected on this map. So again, I wait with bated breath here.
I'll say, I almost, you know, there's 2 rounds there, the pistol and the hoodie clutch, so you'd say should have gone to ZETA's way.
Yes.
Kyedae immediately hit the challenge. He will face off with 10, but Sugar good for the trade. Hoodie gonna get caught off as well. Depp finds another.
That was
response. It's
pacey. It's super pacey, but look at what's left remaining.
2v3.
Over towards long. Spotted. Mixwell's going to see one at least pushing up here, knowing that they're around.
Oh, it's a 1v3. Does Step does Step got clutch in his jeans? Does he have clutch? Oh.
Not again. Mixwell going to be the guardian of the site and get G2 almost back to all even.
Opportunity here for G2 to tie things up. Absolutely right. Yeah, Sheriff thrown in the mix here for Depp. He's looked pretty damn good with that weapon so far this map. I love this Warrior again. Pro maybe an opportunity to commit to the plant, maybe bait out an extra kill, make that a 2v2, but nice attempt nonetheless.
And G2 have a good land nice.
And now G2.
And that is crucial, yeah.
G2 hitting up. G2 hitting up.
Okay.
Winning the pistol.
It's essential, obviously, at this level of play. Coming into this though, we do see the 2 frenzies, so TENNN and Sugar Zero, the kind of ones.
Frenzies against Spectres and Mars. Oh! Mixwell with 2 fucking Mars kills.
Sky high.
Now he's got a frenzy going in. Oh.
Easy, Tiger. Meddo's just going to be like, alright, bud, relax.
Mixwell's like, let me get the tour de force. Let me get it.
Just breaks for a second. You're fine.
No cheese dead now.
Any of the possibilities out of this round. And again, Mixwell is just charging it. He wants to get that online, but Hoody is we want to claim
that was tough.
That was 7-7. G2 closed the gap instantly.
Semi-expected. We'll see what ZETA could do here and there by round. Whether or not G2 can make this interesting. Again, a very comfortable buffer behind it.
Man. I'm stressing out of it. I'm stressing out of it.
No real progress. And ZETA, I mean, going to set up fairly default. Viper wall committed towards A side at least.
Don't tell me I'm a jinx who fucking
G2 just to be aware
team
of
always
it
freaking
again,
loses
the
because
challenge.
that's what happened when I watched NBA playoffs last season.
Trade off for utility just
Every
now, but
freaking
they're really
team
gaining
that
on
I
the side.
switched to
I do like
freaking
Laz
lost the
approach
next
so far. It's
freaking
almost like
game.
more like a peacocking style of,
I
like,
was
just
freaking done
constant
with
showing
that.
a presence. If he gets even
Playoffs.
one
I
out of
hated
this,
that
that's
season.
pretty
That's
great.
why I hated that
On
season.
the other side, timing could be right. Not going to get away with it. Two very aware players waiting in middle. Gets the punish, and they can hit the brakes for a second. Yeah, that's an early pick.
You can see as well, though, Sugar's utility is actually set up to stop nukkye from getting back out, at least safely. He's obviously got the blast packs, but you see the intention there to crunch through. Sugar will actually recall.
Right there.
And no pressure towards A side just yet, and that trap's important in terms of AvovA and Meddo just not feeling any pressure just yet. And Hoody's still playing pretty deep on this well. 45 seconds left, ZETA have to re-explore a couple of these angles. Nothing on the back of the flash. That could pull a rotation.
Well, Mixwell's leaving.
Yeah, yeah.
And rightly so. If you've got
Guess
no
I
information
have
at
to
like 40
pause a
seconds on
little
the flash towards
bit,
long
not
like
get
that, you're going to believe, you're going to put faith
copyright
behind that.
claims. Oh, wrong timing, but then right freaking kill. Oh, we got 2 kills. That's nice. That's nice. That's nice.
Snaps back, but the site is theirs. But it's only 3 of them now. They need to get that spike planted and put up the walls of defense here if you want to see them convert it.
Sugar zero with
They would have heard all 3 TPs.
They've heard the TPs now. Spike down is for a safe here. The post plants are important. It's deep
All
towards
of them are
CT
coming
and
from
towards
hookah.
elbow. Laz
They're
might get
pouring
the
out
first
from
spike on this,
hookah.
but look at the backside. There's not much safety here. Smoke in towards elbow and the cross of the drop. Looking pretty safe unless someone takes a high risk maneuver, and it looks like they want to try and maybe make that aggress now. Closing in towards the side, but they don't know where these players reside. There's so much utility on the battlefield right now. Meddo tries to step forward. It's a trade out of overtaking TENN down, but there's mixwell still standing. The spray from Laz.
It's a 2-1v1. Ah!
But not enough left in the mag, and the defuse for AvovA.
The ammo.
G2 take the lead.
The
I'm
freaking
thinking
ammo.
that 10 was tucked in so deep in spawn. They should have heard all 3. I'm fairly confident they should have heard all 3 TPs coming through. Again, I don't agree with, challenging hooker, but no information on the dropout. I thought Sugar was going to swing on contact, but Mixwell actually tucked himself into cubby. Perfectly there. I mean, that's
Actually, just ended at the wrong. Right
already
freaking
tagged
arm.
up as well. It's an easy one for AvovA to clean up.
Well, heck and played.
Well said. And actually now ZETA back down to
Mac working
Sheriff on the
bad.
board, a Spectre as well, but
Mac
down to
playing
pennies here.
against
Sort of force
Zetas.
invested. Yeah, gotta be careful because there's no real utility to figure this out here. It's going to be a dry swing. I mean, TENN does have a good
G2
block,
at
but
8. G2 is on. They really need a timeout. Why don't they take a
Allow that utility to
timeout?
clear
Oh,
out
they
short.
did the
Mixwell
previous
can just
round,
post
right?
up.
Ah, it didn't work. Let's get this. Let's get this.
Nothing to really push G2 off these angles just yet. Invested. Timing's going to be important here. How long does Mixwell hold this? Doesn't quite connect as he would want.
Reflect.
Actually, a little bit of choke damage on the way out. And this is a dangerous game you're playing here. You now know at least 2 players down. 3, he knows this play is here. He's going to get pinched on that. And again, next one, who else is going to challenge this? It's nukkye this time.
Nukkye's holding it real nice. Ah,
Headshot by
kill.
Hoody. Next in line for G2.
It's a 3v3 now. It's a
See Deck
3v.
as well. Looking
Ah.
for showers here, but Hoody going to find a crucial kill.
It's a 1v3. This is Sugar Zero. Oh, Sugar Zero. Sugar Zero. I trust you, Sugar Zero.
And Sugar
Trust you,
Zero
Sugar
has to try
Zero.
and make a play for it. 12 seconds. And closing the gap would be a big enough
10
problem for
seconds
him. And
left.
Mixwell is posted on this. And you can see them trying to fake the shot. Does well. Good work for Sugar Zero. Can't make any more.
He had to rush. He had to.
Yes, but the
And he had
round
to kill
regardless is
every
going
one
to
of them.
G2. It's now 9 on the board.
A great face from ZETA as well, just making use of the recoil reset. And then the triple swing is
Pro
so
running
much
over
to deal
would be
with.
kind of funny actually.
Unfortunately, it amounts to nothing in G2.
But then,
Now
that's the right thing to do.
That's
That's why
why
they
they
approach, I
themselves 2
guess.
rounds ahead.
Now Mixwell got an
gotta
op,
stop him
man.
now.
That's scary. That's freaking scary.
Nothing behind this purchase for ZETA.
That's his
Also,
ult
it's just
right
about coming online
but
now.
then,
Laz with that Viper's Pit,
a
Sugar
little slower
on away,
ult.
10 and
His
Depth 2
op
away
is slower
respectively.
than his freaking
This
ult.
is
His
one.
ult is
ZETA
like
have to put on the board.
freaking
Mixwell now
fast.
with the operator online. There's a little bit of a pace change here. You can play a lot deeper on the back of this, but I'm still happy to contest long. Depth going to punish it.
Fight really good fight for depth there, and you're right. Finding mixwell at the same time is everything. It's hoody
Oh,
on the island.
nice.
He's doing everything he can to just try and stay alive. He's overwhelmed. No chance of doing it, and look how deep towards CT they've already got control. This could be a save.
Oh, yeah.
Crow.
Instant.
Oh,
pace change
Crow plays Sky. I get it.
No, this is the one that they needed to make something happen, and actually, you look at it. Again, the
Crow does
showstopper
fly.
gained the res out of it. Sugar Zero still one away from the cosmic
High
divide.
up in the sky. Crow
That could be a
fly
pivotal
high
round
up
for
in the
ZETA.
sky.
Punchy. That was so quick.
And he controls the
They might have an opportunity
freaking bird
with
too.
Mixwell saving
That
on
bird's a
the
crow
previously,
now.
Then buying the operator, there might be a
least for
chance
crow.
here to at least reduce 3 of the players in
Okay,
G2 down to
they're saving this round.
save.
They're saving. Okay.
Yeah, I tried to. I've stopped.
Now
halfway.
it's
Yeah,
now
you lost
ZETA's
it.
got no.
Yeah.
That's nice.
I felt confident, and then I was thinking about it.
that's the worst
Not
part.
so
We
much
start
anymore.
thinking.
Yeah.
Very dangerous game. I've avoided it most of my life. However, it looks like most of these players will be avoiding each other for the rest of the round. I don't know if anyone's close enough to challenge. I think they will be exiting these
Now
rifles.
it's
Nukkye
8, 9.
Yeah, go
Okay,
on.
now
So
now
we'll have a look at
ZETA
purchase coming back in if there are any glaring issues for G2. It does seem like it can
ZETA's
facilitate a purchase.
with the what's
Yeah,
called
but, I
that?
mean, this-
I forgot the
Probably
word.
it. You look at what's behind it here.
Motivated? No.
Really, really nice hit. Not sure
What's
we
the
did
word that I
catch
was
the
searching
Mixwell
for? I
kill. I don't know if
forgot.
he was
He's
maybe
got backside,
forced off an angle. I think he
yeah.
was on top of tube
Yeah.
initially, but the finances here, I mean, well, 4 people sat below.
When you win the previous round and you
2K.
go the next
Showstopper
round
to
with
offset that slightly,
that-
so bit of
no.
a bonus for G2.
what you call that?
Well, Zeta
I
tied
forgot
up
what
in
you
the
call that.
Meddo
Man, my
instantly
vocab is.
Meddo
Oh,
got the
nice.
and he's been punished for it as well. Stuck around a little too long and just was on the receiving end of all that damage.
And this was the exact same setup we saw when they tried to crunch and catch Nukkye inside with Sugar's
TENNN is a
utility
good.
early on. It's so simple, but it gets the job
See,
done.
it's real nice now.
Comes in.
Let me show you how it's done. That's what
The play-up
TENNN
line
says.
beginning, but look at the early
Nukkye coming
exploration
up
work
from the other side, front flank.
It is, but now they
Nukkye
have to run away. Let's see how far you can make it. Sent to the back wall. The Zekas go out on the other side. It's all about time.
TENNN
They
with
got
2
much of it
kills.
anymore. AvovA's still
TENNN got
alive,
2
but
kills
just
now.
being melted
10 is
down.
heading up. 10 is heading up. Sugar Zero got killed. AvovA got killed, but AvovA ended up dying. He got traded. That's a nice
In
trade.
between the middle of it,
That's what we
slowed
like about
everything
trades,
going against
man.
him. And the last 2 players, we
Now
knew they
someone
were on the
can,
A
someone
side. Yes, they
teleport
got
it.
here early,
You
but
can hit.
already the
They
balls
heard
on the
it.
defensive
2
side
people
have been
waiting.
just
2 people
elevated.
waiting.
Double stack towards Hookah. Nukkye trying to just disrupt that as best he can, but he's given nothing on this.
And Mixwell's in full save mode.
Yeah, he's gone.
Like I said, I'm really curious as to how this looks. Yes, Nukkye
Ah,
has a
ZETA
showstopper.
ZETA.
I'm going to see.
I told you,
an
ZETA's
attempt to
heading
at
up.
least
ZETA's heading up.
guarantee the first blood,
It's a
but
full
Zeta have
V2.
been so good in terms of
They're
this
gonna
early
save
control.
again.
So good. And we haven't seen Nukkye dialing in any pressure towards whether or not he's now adjusted towards A to make use of the paint shell and have that crunch in through the TP. But with Meddo being removed immediately, removes the snake bite, makes that crunch even harder.
I do want to see now, you know, this is one of those adjustments that is a big indicator for me is the depth of G2, but I do want to see how they address that issue now. Because this looks like they've, you know, set a bit of a standard here for safety. Like, okay, we've actually got some really good approaches on this, we need you now to adjust, right? So let's see what G2 do coming back into this. Is there an answer that they have already cooked up in their minds? Because again, having who can control this early on, just perfect for them.
For free.
Yeah.
He's right.
And that's
All we need is a
has
little
to be
sneak
addressed.
peek and you're
Absolutely.
dead. That's what
Agree
they
with
said.
this
Now it's a 9-9. It's a freaking,
The
they're tied
answer
up,
is
they're tied up.
digging a little deeper for G2.
You go around. No.
Again, they're not really gaining anything in terms of committing 3 towards being that previous round. It's got completely ripped away from them. So whether or not now the side they're going to commit 3 towards, they're a little more proactive in forcing Zeta a little.
We watched TENNN talks about Valorant's toxicity. Yeah, I really get what he's saying if he's talking about toxicity. Valorant's toxicity is like on another level. Can't we just play for fun? That's what I really want.
For the $26. I mean,
Think about it.
if you're just playing as well,
Let me hear what he has to say
like,
first.
I think there's like no harm in streaming if you're just gonna play anyways. So that's like my view on it. I wouldn't say it's a distraction. I'd say Valorant is toxic in general, especially towards females and especially in EU.
Especially in EU, I don't know about EU anywhere, cause I play in C server. I play C server, but then trust me, I play at 100 ping, and then I say they're like, "Wow, play a little better," and I'll use the excuse of a ping. I have 140 ping because that's my average freaking ping. I'll be like, that's how I got 100 ping, understand? And then they're like, don't freaking play if you at a ping like this. And I'm like, I'm not supposed to play Valorant, man. Why? They're basically telling me to not play Valorant. That's just fucked up, man. And let's go back to ZETA with this.
Now the wall being broken here.
I'm waiting to see when that comes through as well. Timing is everything. If G2 get the timing right, there's so many different angles to be worried about here. Laz gonna catch it though. That's great work. ZETA just put that foot down. Unreal presence. Crow still holding on the side. Doesn't get caught by the flash. Easily
nice.
got this one. As Laz has got his back and out. Meddo presented the unthinkable and unwinnable.
And that was a nice win, but ZETA. Another ZETA win. I told you.
They
I
went
told
to the storm
my
up
Asian
exactly
brothers
what we're
heading up.
expecting from G2, which is them being a little more proactive. They dig deep in showers. Initially find everything they need to. I think they catch Sugar0 actually in astral form, pulling up that cosmic divide. He falls. Actually, even after then, it doesn't feel comfortable for ZETA on the way in. I was almost questioning it there with Laz, with the ultimate up. You almost feel like, yeah, stay on site. If things get a little dicey, you can ult in towards lamps, maybe hold on to default with the ult, but he actually catches him over on that really late.
I like the skin.
On the back
Can't
of the TP, actually
help
to
but
crunch
envy
showers.
those skins.
They quelled the money, humbled it almost instantly.
I'm a skin hunter.
Look, he's always got
I just don't like pay for it because
It always has a vandal.
And look at it, the Crow 9 on the other side.
don't have to
Sitting
budget to
patiently waiting
raise
for this
on
moment that
game.
Ludwig attempted. Beckham
Skins,
this and
special
spotted.
skins. I
Crow
can't
doesn't
like
particularly win out in
trying
the first fight and
buying
he's gonna have to
games
back
to
away
get
now.
a whole fucking game to play, but then skins
Immediately the response is there
is
with
like I did spend when I was younger, but then not anymore. I don't wanna. I have better things to spend bucks on. Not really better, but then other things.
towards sight.
Spend better things depending on the personal
Meddo though,
outfit.
he's got to be careful because Tenn's already got here. He's got all the
Some things better
information
from
on
others.
audio queue
Some
and the
things are
Vipers
better
this
from
time
others.
around invested
Dep-
pretty deep in lamps.
This
Yeah,
is
very
not a fact.
deep in
It's
lamps.
just
Actually cuts off
basic.
CT as well. Where is that
Personal
spike going all of this? You have to really go down. They need to secure a little bit of safety, and TENN is desperate to do that, but he loses the
Not
fight.
pretty.
No, Hoody's still holding the line, and Laz, temptation, he wants to water it. Catch him! Oh my word, Hoody, how? How are you hitting that? There's Depp Crow and Sugar0 not going to be happy with this as nukkye. So back in the timing. Sugar0 must have seen the barrel peek through and took the timing just right. Spike now down, but the numbers do favour G2 in this.
Anything's
And getting a
doable.
couple of rifles to boot. The spray not good enough to make more than one.
Got traded.
Depp and Sugar0, the only two standing bastions here for ZETA. The wrap coming in. Footsteps heard, the wall about to drop, and now this brother who's dead. Can't do it. AvovA's found him. It's all on Sugar0 now. 1v3, it's done. Hoody gets the punish. And we're back all even. This game is coming down to the wire.
Hoody, man. I mean, the
It's a
first
10-10 tight now. Tight once more tight.
But to then come through and find Laz inside his own Viper's pit is just insanity. Yeah, TENN's just relying on a lucky shot with strafing back and forth, but wow. And just a pixel out place there, finds the final kill. What a round from Hoody.
Yeah.
Again, I mean, Brent even comments was pivotal in the first half as well.
Hoody with the
in terms of
sheriff
keeping
is
G2 in it.
dangerous. That's what I
All
learned
tied up
from
10
that
apiece
round,
now.
man. Ain't nobody
Well,
messing
operator
with
back on
Hoody.
board. Depp actually. Oh, considered
Thinking
one.
about it.
Considered one.
10-10, and we go back into it. Similar scenes over to Atuka. Have to now give it up after the back of the flash. Could pull a rotation in, but not just yet. Quick work though, a lot of presence now shown. Hoody's got to know there's a lot more players here. Depp needs the flash. Look at the little set piece in play, but the slow's going to keep him at bay. Depp, unpunished, Seekers come in, has to force the spray, and a lot of utility exchange over towards Octagon, but no one really to make much of it just yet.
Sky's secret.
Nukkye a little bit stuck now. ZETA can actually slow things down and try and pressure this.
Now they're trying to rotate.
Is Laz considering coming
With
to
the
the
creep.
TP? Yeah, they're just trying to tag that vulnerable here, and they're desperate to clear Nukkye because this should be a freebie.
Yeah. And no one else can G2 can really bail him out. They can't do anything about this. I'm looking at Laz for this lurk, and it looks like mixwell's going to reevaluate this and going to go back for a second check.
Lurking and
Post
waiting.
himself up.
Oh.
The box!
No.
Peek above, so close.
Oh.
And there's the reveal. TENN's found nukkye. Meddo with the trade out though finds Laz, but there's still 4 players present towards this B side of things. So it is a 4v2 essentially on this B site, but 28 seconds to go.
That's a very late Viper's pit. Well, short from Meddo. Again, it's not going to matter too much because ZETA semi-committed here, but AvovA will find the first
ZETA getting wiped out. ZETA got wiped out.
Nothing to dissuade it, nothing to break it, and you're right. The smoke coming up and Hoody and AvovA perfectly in combination, just pulling them to pieces. It's 11 for G2.
11. G2 in the lead. G2 back in the lead. G2 back in the lead.
Ultimate's not much available here. ZETA will be able to pull together the purchase regardless, but this is so well played. Yeah, Hoody just showing the perfect time. A couple of crisp shots as well.
Oh my god.
G2 actually now find themselves back in the driving seat, 1 round ahead of ZETA. Again, there will be something to work with for the next round. Showstopper potentially to offset that purchase, but Depth's with an operator now.
The aggression. This has been a little bit of a back and forth between the two to an extent.
It's always been Depp here. It's always been a little bit of a bait actually for Laz.
Oh my god, that tender. Don't tell me the Wi-Fi freaking died. No, we still got Wi-Fi. So we're playing Valorant for 77,000 viewers. I'm watching 77,000 viewers and one of them can't come to my stream.
Back towards B.
I'm just playing with you. Don't come to the stream. VCT is what we want.
We've still got his paranoia as well, so he can slow this down on contact.
You're watching VCT, you should probably watch it. It's better.
No way. 10 can charge it down if he cancels.
Timing.
Oh. Yes, he does!
TENN! Perfect place. Hoody though still standing, still holding, and still spotting more players. Tries to do what he can, become the turret himself, but he does get taken down by Crow for support.
Freaking collateral.
Doesn't need the discount. They are rolling in it. 12 rounds now on the board. G2 about to break some hearts, but what a game.
Collateral, bro.
And actually, Showstopper burnt up by 10, which was something that could have been put into use. So we'll have to see exactly how it happens. And Mixer actually, he's had a few abysmal times.
Click it, reload. Okay, please do reload.
Depth as well. Laz, every single one has been doing their job. But on the other side, you've had Hoody having a blinder. You've had Mixwell being ever present. It's been a...
You don't know waiting out to what should I do? I don't really know. Let me just tell you about all the things. Best of 10s. Wanna watch best of 10s? I don't know. How much seconds do we got? Let me watch.
Appreciating for other teams.
Starts, right?
Yeah, the ceiling.
Till it starts. Till it starts. That's 19%. It's gonna last a little. Hope it does. My battery is kind of fucked up. The best of 10s part 8.
Hello, everyone.
Everyone knows 10s, right?
Cat one.
Oh, it's got 803
Good. You hit your
support
again?
people. Oh yeah.
Got him.
One heaven.
Yep, I want to come peek for main. Right side. I'm just gonna run through smoke. Go.
One sub.
One more, man.
Nice.
Turning cat. I'm tagged.
Yep. One, man. Think another one?
One mid. Speaking mid.
2 under.
Big mid. One main.
Under.
Left side. Just peek off.
I have no money. I'm just gonna swing this.
I wanna watch
one under me.
Did it shot. I'm hyped up.
Oh, the timing. The timing! He still gets
it's
it!
the last round and I missed it.
He's just gonna hold this till
my bad, my stream, my bad.
end of it, and there it is. Mixwell delivers the final blow as G2 close out in 2 at 13-10 on their debut here in Reykjavik.
I mean, a sigh of relief, honestly. Like I said, I was so impressed with ZETA's performance. Once again, we're saying that about ZETA, but G2, like I said in map 1, it felt like they almost weathered the storm, right? It's this war of attrition, and that was so painful to watch in some rounds. But ZETA are able to just squeak through, find space, find their first blood, which we know is the cornerstone of G2's success. They're really able to mitigate a lot of what G2 were trying to achieve, but the versatility there, G2 able to close things out.
On the other side, obviously, ZETA, incredible run thus far. And you've got to say, G2 are arguably...
Oh, I didn't know this freaking bad now.
One of the favourites for people out here. I know a lot of people have picked them to do the deeper runs here going towards the finals. And you're seeing some of that pedigree show, some of that capability show. But to have a close game against arguably one of the favourites here is nothing to be disappointed with, obviously, in the grand scheme of things. But for ZETA, they put their hearts into this. And again, hard to see them lose, but good to see G2 looking in fine form, because we've had a lot of questions about their form coming into Reykjavik.
Absolutely, and that's the biggest thing for me was them being able to translate the comfort that they've had regionally, at least in the run so far. ZETA definitely, I mean, took a fight to them. So we've seen in some of these highlights here that they're happy to go toe-to-toe with a team like G2, which they are the kings of chaos. They love to scrap, and it is very structured scrapping, which is almost it's almost like weird to say, but they really have excelled recently. Again, nukkye being one of the cornerstones of that. For him to have a quiet map and G2 still deliver is massive for me. TENN, actually coming out, I'm looking at this now, TENN and Def actually managed to find 13 first ones. I was asking if there was a counter some way through the first half, because it felt that way. That's actually insane from Def and TENN. I mean, they both had a standout series.
Yeah, I've loved watching the journey between these teams so far. Just that introduction of G2 on the stage, and they've been looking mean coming into this. Looking prepared, looking ready. And I've got to say as well, for me, nice to see mixwell having a good performance here. Confidence builder, that chamber.
Honeymoon's not over, right?
No, exactly. They're still having a great time. I'm super happy to see him finding that form here, because again, you know, when you come back into the roster with all of those ups and downs they had, to instantly make a statement on your first step on the stage, looks solid. And again for Hoody, same sort of scene in my mind. To have a big performance here is great for the man. Confidence should be sky high, and that's a solid post.
Anticipation building for where you ended up on there.
Hello.
But no, really, really good performance. And then, like I said, it's going to squash a lot of questions. Now they've set the bar.
Playing games, they're professional gamers, because they spend the whole freaking day just grinding.
Where we've seen them kind of fall short previously.
You know, they're just freaking grinding and all. So they basically end up being somewhat like an introvert, so which basically means they're not gonna be that good when it comes to being like okay, you know, like yo posing like a pro kind of thing. They're pro at gaming or pro at.
Who's yours? No.
You care about what I think?
No. Sorry. Yes.
Nice recovery. Yeah, it's Hoody for me anyway. Hoody had a standout series. Yeah, really impressed with him today.
I think it's a pretty reasonable choice. He seems like...
I get it.
Well, sorry, Barry Boombot. I'm sorry. You've literally just written the maps.
I literally just wrote Barry Boombot. That's the only thing written on this card.
Yeah, it's been a great series, honestly. I've been quite happy to see this. I mean, it's upsetting to see ZETA kind of bow out, at least at this stage for now. But again, to be able to push someone like G2...
They've already shown us that they have the ability to recover. I'm hoping that this series is going to be, I don't want to say a spark for them to go away and work on things. I think they played a fantastic game today, but we're showing us they can recover. Now they do ultimately have another chance to show us.
They absolutely do. Now, I did actually ask you, where do you think G2 are going to go in this tournament? How deep? Now you've seen this performance, does it change where you put them at the start?
Okay, so I'm just going to be watching something else. I don't know. Let me just switch my analytics. That's my analytics. I don't know what to do with my analytics though, but I did it down. Fit IQ. Tarik game 10.9,000 views per hour. It just tells us how many views per hour it's getting. The average views per hour. Play versus 1,000 plays in Valorant. I know, I didn't think I'll say watch that.